It's very humid. However, it's very cold. Well, it's not very cold, but humidity and temperature are matching. 60% humidity, 60 degrees. I think there's something to that if I remember right, but I'm not sure. We're going to find out here in a minute. Which one's your clear gun? That one there in the...
It's in the cabinet. It's kept up. So you can't make a mistake.
Spinner. So I figured, as a test, I would paint the spinner and see if it blushes. If it doesn't blush, it's going to get cleared. One, maybe two light coats. Boy, that looks pretty good if I could keep that shining.
Now, I'm gonna wipe this down once, but I wanna go over it again with just a dry rag. Just to make sure we get this wiped off and the nooks and crannies, and we'll blow it off with some air. Don't want to leave any of this stuff on there by chance. It evaporates pretty fast, but
Well, it's gonna look really good if I can get it to shine just as good as this.
oh, it'll look real good. I don't think we got any worries. You get all these greasy fingerprints and stuff off of here, and
Because I'm a greasy kind of guy.
that's the problem you have when you're a mechanic, you know, you got mechanic hands and all that fucking grease shit in the pores. I used to use that Gojo, and I take Gojo and put Gojo and Dawn liquid detergent and mix them together, and the Gojo had the grit in it that would get down in your skin, and then the Dawn is a grease cutting stuff too. And I had a little scrub brush that hook over your fingers that I could take. It helped tremendously. Keep your fingernails kept short.
We got 0 watchers. They'll be back.
They're that fat and sassy afternoon.
Are you doing dry or wet?
I'm drying them both, and wet and then dry, and then go over to dry again to make sure that. And you could do it again with the prep saw. You still got to wipe it down again. The biggest thing is not to have any of them little slivers on there from the carding and stuff. Always seems to be one or two of them to get in the mix.
think I'll take the flaps off. When I shoot flaps and elevators, shoot them separate so I can get the fuselage real good inside there.
Yeah. Okay, that's wiped down all the way, everything, and dried off once. Now you need to just go over it and make sure it's all dried. And I didn't do these.
Huh.
Oh, well.
Got some glue on them. Taking the paint off. Getting overspray off, I guess.
No fogging the canopy, well, no fogging the whole airplane.
Ain't gonna fog the canopy because the canopy's wood.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
It won't necessarily kill you if it does blush a little bit, but it's better off not to get any in it. You
What?
don't have to blush.
The canopy or the?
Anything
Yeah, it'd be nice not to blush.
just makes for less work. I didn't do that cow. And I didn't do this banner.
That's pretty shiny as is. Huh?
I did a pretty good job, right? Yeah, it came out pretty nice.
Okay, so we need a stick for the spinner.
Right here, it was right here. Stuff's not cheap.
Let's get this going here. Let's see. My channel. 5 watching. Sweet. Give a thumbs up there. All right. Okay. We're using DX330 paint degreaser. Get your retarder. Where's your retarder at? Gonna be able to smell that. Okay. So here's the test piece right here. We're gonna test it on this.
And it's retarder.
This is already thinned.
These good, or are these used, or?
No, they're good. So if I were to do, say, 10%, it'd be that much, right?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't put over like, you know, a half an inch or so in there. Ooh.
Now this morning, because I was coming over here to do this project, I was watching videos on furniture finishing. And they were talking about spraying lacquer in high humidity. Well, the guy had a table that was blushed out. I mean, it was blushed out. He took 50% retarder and 50% thinner and sprayed it on it. And it came right out.
I sprayed one with straight thinner before and got blush out of it that way, but it's a scary proposition and you don't put it on there soaking wet.
Where's your clear gun? Okay, we're gonna have to let this down. I'll be so happy to get a couple of coats of clear on this, you can't believe it. That needs cleaned out.
Yeah. Crap, I need brushes up here.
That's why the Q-tips were out.
Oh. Well, I put them back up. Clear will add about 3/4 of an ounce a coat. Could add an ounce, depends on how heavy you put it on there. This gun right here is set pretty good. I don't touch the controls on it except to check the fan to make sure it's still taped and where I want it at.
No, it ain't. Nothing's taped on it.
Okay, as long as it's open. We'll have to check it. Seem right. That's good.
Don't screw me up here.
I changed cups to a different gun and put that cup on because the cap comes off and on of it easier. But I know that my good gun is a Harbor Freight gun, so it's a purple gun. And it's got tape on it, so You don't hit that fan thing with your thumb. The humidity thing says, I don't know, 60-some%.
We're gonna see if we can cheat fate. Not ideal painting weather. If I can't, well, I guess I can't.
They know how accurate this little meter is.
It doesn't feel humid and it ain't very hot. So, if it was hot, wouldn't even try it. I'm gonna have to bump the camera so I get the, well, I guess I can do
An
that.
airplane this size, and I said 3/4 of an ounce, but we allow an ounce. We sort of figure an ounce for a coat of clear. You may use an ounce, you may not use an ounce. Of course.
Okay, set her down. Here. Push away. That computer's on out there on the channel. Everything adds weight. If you fart, it adds weight.
See, I can't read that like that. Not too long ago, you guys were experimenting with the best way to remove the old silksman. Now look at it. Awesome. Yeah, thanks some guy, Sandy. A lot of work.
Lots of work. Okay, let's do this test piece and see what happens.
Who'd have thought?
Huh?
Who'd have thought?
Keep your fingers crossed.
You can tell when you add that retarder to it. It really stinks bad. The spray, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna have to plug in the compressor for this.
Yeah.
They get noisy. Boys and boils.
Okay, so I've done my test piece on this. I've sprayed the spinner clear. I don't see any blush yet, but that doesn't mean anything.
Let it dry. Noise time.
Here comes the noise.
Well, maybe. We need to see a little bit more. See, that wasn't the only experiment that we really did on this thing either. Because there's some painting on there that's sort of questionable on the amount of paint that's on that airplane. Check that. You left 2 coats of white off of it. airbrush some things that we probably would have used the big gun on. I mean, there's other things. I mean, it's
What?
freaking sanding.
Yeah, I know. I need to just add more.
Yeah, I know, but you put a lot of sanding in it.
Could have used more sanding back here.
Some little spots here. and there.
Uh-oh, what's this? That's a white mark from that wax and grease remover. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's overspray. Better check all the way around that nose up there.
Yeah, got it.
More than Prepsol probably got it. Just need to
I
make
just
sure
use
you rub all that.
I just use 70 proof alcohol. I see a piece of flashing that needs to come off though. One of them cards.
In that bowl there in that right hand cover, where the Q-tips are. You gotta have it on both sides. Yeah, I see that flashing right there. Yeah, ain't hurting anything. It about got away.
Yeah, almost got me. Cause you know damn well that wouldn't have laid down in the blue, that would have come back into the white.
No, it just had been just like that. Now you gotta watch that one little flake, cause it'll float down and land right up here in this white between our. That get all that blue off this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks good. Till you rub all that overspray off that blue where you painted it this morning.
That's what happened when you Prepsol and it pulled that blue back into the white.
Yeah, that's why I say you gotta go around and rub it down twice, and you're looking for all them little specks, any little carding flakes that are on it. I hope it doesn't blush.
So far the spinner hasn't blushed. It would have been blushed by now.
You would think. Is it dry? Still tacky.
Can't tell, there's no place to touch it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Let me paint the cowl, see what it does. If this works, if it works, we know that humidity is in direct relationship to temperature.
Not a guarantee. There's a disclaimer in there. And this has got retarder in it, so you gotta be careful about putting it on thick, wet. Could melt everything. Could melt a clear canopy too, if you got a clear canopy on it.
Okay, let's see what happens with that. I think it's gonna be okay though. Sure looks like it.
I give it 5 minutes.
If the dark blue turns light blue, we got a problem.
Yeah, the red turns pink. Can't hardly see blush on white.
It just looks chalky.
Yeah. set them up here out of the way.
I'll paint them back on the airplane, but I wanna get the fuselage down
Yeah,
there.
you gotta get that trailing edge of the wing and stab it done.
Now that spinner look flushed?
No, what are them dots on there?
Just,
That from handling it.
Yeah.
Putting it off and on.
no big deal, it's small, it needs to be repainted. What do you think? It would start to blush by now.
You would think it would. See, now that side you got on a little heavier than the other one, and I don't see any blush there. I don't see any, see that this is a little light on this side,
Yeah.
but I don't see any blush in it. You're gonna need to put it on that heavy.
Mhm.
A little wetter than what you got it on this one side.
We can fix that. It's dry.
I think now where you'll tell if it'll blush. You got two coats on. If it blushes between the two coats.
Well, that'll mean just gotta get one coat.
One coat get done. You know, don't dawdle. You can't dawdle with it at all. But if you come back and touch a spot that you missed, you're dead in the water. Just gotta leave it and wait for it to dry, and then none of this is guaranteed. None of it.
If it dries just as good as that, we're in shape.
Yeah.
Then I can ink from there or do whatever I'm gonna
Now,
do.
you get a good coat like that on there, you can ink, you'll be able to scratch it off or rub it off if you want to, but like this, no.
I was thinking about going, well, I could sneak in some, if I make a mistake though.
One mistake, man, then you're done, you're dead in the water. That white paint just sucks that ink right out. It just leaves a stain right there, and well, that ain't coming out. There ain't no paint, so there ain't no scratching a layer of paint off of it to get through. In the old days, you might have been able to get away with that, but
Here we go, like I say, I think there's a correlation between humidity and temperature.
there could be to some extent, but I still don't, I don't want to totally sign off on that.
So when I get my airplane painted, you gonna grab yours and get it on the stand and get some clear on it?
No, it's got clear on it now, it's got enough on it to ink.
Oh.
So I'm waiting to ink until I know that I get good weather for clear over top of the ink lines. And I wanna do the ink lines and shoot it as fast as I can, so it's not sitting here getting dust on it where I gotta try to wipe over the ink lines or anything like that. Well, Barbara's gonna get real stinky in here pretty soon. So let me know.
Yeah, let's see what they say. 11 and 5. You guys were experimenting with the best way to remove the old silk span. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for it.
Oh, the one that beat.
Then the third spot. Pretty much tied up.
Did you find that?
I've been waiting for this damn wind match, and they're gonna be fighting forever. It's like,
Yeah.
they really take my neck, I think. Well, I'd be careful, there's some up there. Like, any flowers, that's your
Oops, I can't touch it.
pain, I'll tell you a little bit. So
There's his mom. So does mine. I need to
I'm not gonna cut it for a while.
bring it around my ears and just
I'll cut this
bring it down over my ears and then trying to pull this forward a little bit and then I drain it a little bit. And it's all right, but it's still
Yeah,
on the top.
I'll do yours, I'm not doing mine for a while.
That's the part you get the road, that's the part you get the groove.
I'm not hitting the floor.
We're letting the part get the groove. He's committed himself.
Oh, shit.
Does that sound good?
It's got one of them hairs in it. Hold this. Wouldn't you know it?
There's still one in,
Nope, that's red paint off that hair.
really?
Yeah,
You sure?
you positive I pulled the hair out. So, have to touch that up. Yeah, Christopher, this is the first clear. This is a big test. A lot of experiments on this airplane. 60% humidity, 57 degrees. Little 10% retarders. A little more than 10.
Maybe a little more. But it didn't bless on the cow and it didn't bless on the spinner, so he's taking a chance. It's not a death sentence if it does flush a little bit, but it's better if it doesn't. Well, you don't have to contend with it. That gun just sits down different than them other ones, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing. They must have slipped the good parts in that one.
Well, fill her up.
One cup down.
One side. This thing don't stick in there very good.
What's sticking down where?
In here.
Hang it by the cup. You gotta make sure that the air regulator thing's not sitting on the table. It pushes it up a little bit.
Okay. Let her rip. Is that Chris Everson on there?
Yeah.
Yep, this is definitely an experiment. Educated guess, though. Now, John has seen Bob Brookins spray clear in the rain. That leads me to believe that there's a direct correlation between humidity and temperature.
Yeah, going by winter time and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if we spray in the winter and we have a good, when it's snowing and that's 100% humidity.
Yeah, but the humidity does drop in the winter time, that's for sure.
What I'm doing here is not recommended. And it's one coat.
2 cups.
Almost 2 cups. What? Well, I don't have the flaps done. Flaps and elevators, so I gotta do them.
About a third of the jar down.
I have very little left in the second cup. So I might as well go ahead and put it all on. Fill it up and do the flaps and elevators and stuff. We shall see what happens. The cowl didn't blush, the spinner didn't blush.
Well, the cow would have been the telltale if, because of 2 coats on there.
Okay.
You sure tell by the smell of that stuff, you got retarder in it.
Anybody saying anything?
And that's of Chris's statement.
Okay.
No. Nothing being said yet.
Took him down.
Who took you down?
Alphabet, took this, you know. Hey, like, visitors win a turn, Kenny this time.
Yeah.
Take it down the tall and check the bitch, but,
That's a good deal.
well, you still got either 60 pops or 0.
Well, either one of those guys can be sleepers.
Can't stand either one. saying anything.
He's he doesn't care about things for years.
Never really did anything. He knows.
The Canadian living in Montana. Living in Montana.
Probably.
Oh, it's a tax haven.
Tax.
We got plenty left. Well, come take a look at this and see where you think I need to spray. A little more on this canopy. More on this shell decal, so there's some dirt in it.
Yeah.
Don't want to bury it any deeper.
And watch. It's hard to keep it all out of it. I'm gonna give just a little bit on the bottom half of both sides of this. It doesn't hurt to have more on the nose anyway.
Got some dirt up in here, look at that.
Yeah, that's the same thing mine had. Same stuff. They're pain, they can't get them out.
Oh, it even came back here on these turtle decks. Have to sand it out.
I tried sanding mine out when I was going through the color.
I mean, you gotta really be looking for stuff. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, I know, but to you, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
You got it on there pretty dry.
That ain't dry.
Let it dry. See what you end up with.
Now this is all the paint that I have left from my original quart of dope. This is all top coat. So whatever this is, if I sand and fix or whatever, this is all the paint I got. It's about 2 more cups or 1 more coat. And that's all you get.
You can thin that about half.
But if you look at this, it's pretty nice. We'll sand it, I mean not today, but I'll sand it with, I'm gonna put another coat on it, which I don't know. We'll see what it weighs. I'm not one from saying, well, it's 55 ounces now. Glue the flaps on and go fly it. Or put some ink lines on it and put 2 more coats of clear on it and end up at 57. Because you ain't gonna get any more points, one way or the other. Is this acceptable? I could rub this out and make it look nice. The only problem is, with all the color change that's on this, if you're not careful, you could smear the red into the white real easy. It really does need another coat. And I might do that again.
Especially on all the open days.
We might let this dry and then go ahead and put another coat on it, and that's what it'll be. Forego the ink. I was going to ink all these checkerboards. Debatable. When I get it home and I get it on the scale and it's only 55 ounces, I might do it, It depends. It all depends on that scale. What does it weigh? Because if I could come out 2 ounces lighter than when I went in, I'd be really happy.
I can't see that happening, but I think if you put a comparable finish on it, it's gonna weigh 57. No matter how you shake a stick at it.
Yes, Chris, this is the first clear. Yeah, I want it to weigh 55 though. I don't want it to weigh 57.
Well, right now, you don't hardly have enough on there to be doing any wet sanding or anything like that to it. right through that clear.
This experiment was about the blush.
Well, yeah, today, kind of painting 60% humidity, geez.
And it was a successful experiment so far. I mean,
I really think that not running that heater did help.
this stuff is dry already. I could go, I'm gonna put another coat on it. Give it a few more minutes, but I'm gonna hit it again.
I'd add some thinner to that.
Add thinner to it, huh?
To your jar. You're still pretty thick, cause that's still just barely the original clear.
Well, it's not quite my original quart because I have a little bit sitting on my workbench back at the apartment because I took it out to repair that spot.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll go ahead and add some more thinner. Think it'll flow better.
Yeah. Won't hurt you, the thinner will gas off, so it ain't gonna hurt you. Do you have enough for 2 more coats in there, or just one in the partial?
Probably just one and a partial.
I would add enough thinner to it to make 2 coats. If it's not over thinning it too much. Of course, when it's over thinned, ever stop us from doing anything.
It didn't blush. It's pretty much dry. It didn't blush.
That's good. Well, it tells us one thing. You can shoot basically at 60% humidity.
As long as the temperature ain't up.
Now, I don't know that I'd be shooting at 60% humidity if it was 80 degrees outside.
No. Like I say, I think there's a correlation between ambient temperature and humidity
Very well could be.
as far as painting goes.
Sure, there's some painting guru out there that knows if that's a fact or not, but
Everything we do here is an experiment.
that's pretty much.
Come here and pour this while I hold it.
How far can you take it? I have to open this door here.
Can I figure up to there?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to right there.
Cans.
I know they're just sucking. Go. Stop.
Cow looks real nice.
Spinner look okay?
Yeah. I found little dots on it.
Yeah, well,
It'll be alright.
it'll be fine. Okay, we added an inch of thinner into this already thinned, retarded clear. So it went from here to here.
So now you got 2 more coats about right in there.
Yeah.
If not, you can make it 2 coats by adding some more thinner to it.
Yeah. So at the end of the game, you're spraying straight thinner.
Just dang near. Well, this stuff's like honey anyway. You know, the base clear period is like honey. And I don't think a half a quart of honey and a half a quart of thinner is necessarily a 50% thin job.
Yeah.
It might be a 25% thin job technically. You can definitely see the gloss on it now. I think your open days need some attention on this coat. Well, the whole, you put a coat on everything, but this coat will lay down better. It'll spray on wetter, so be cautious of runs. As you well know, the thinner that stuff gets, the more it's a run. Afternoon, Alan. Right now, Billy.
Yep.
I like that green canopy.
Cost $50.
Yeah, you too can have a green canopy just like mine. For a paltry sum of $50.
$50. That stuff will make you high.
Yeah, something about that retarder really Increases the potency.
Actually, I have enough for 2 coats more. Could be 3 coats. A lot of thinner.
Yeah.
Huh?
Just makes it lay out better and be flatter with less sanding to get orange peel and all that out of it.
That laid down nice. I'm gonna do a little research on that temperature theory I have to see if I'm correct. I wish there was some paint glue around that I could add.
Yeah, well, we are the paint gurus, we're the ones doing the experiment, you know. And it's not a killer if you do get some blush in it, it's not, you know, death to the whole paint job.
No, but it's a whole lot better if you don't. Okay. So that's 2 coats of clear on there, and I have enough for 2 more coats in this. But it's still from my same original quart of clear. 1 quart, that's all you get. So I think, we'll have John look at it, but I think what the deal is gonna be is let it sit, take it back to the apartment, let it dry, sand it with some 2000 grit sandpaper. If I'm gonna put ink on it, well, first off, put it back together, see what it weighs. If we're not, it should not have gained more than an ounce today.
I don't think that's probably what you gained, about an ounce.
So that would be 55 and a half. The thing to do would be to let it set, sand it with 1500, not really sand it, just kind of level it out. Ink it, and then shoot the rest of that clear on there. And then it'll be 57 ounces. But depending on what I want to do, it may look good enough after I get it done here that it's good enough. I just go fly it.
It'll be a real shaky thing buffing it out with that little bit of clear on it.
Hand rub.
Yeah, pretty much. You might take some 5,000 or something and very lightly sand it.
The wings, I got the wings loaded really good. They all bagged out.
That's good. That's what you wanted. That's what I thought, looking at it from the last time, was that it looked like it was a little dry on the open bays.
Well, they're bagged up now. Both sides, still bagging. I mean, this has got plenty of thinner in it.
And I don't think people really realize, we're showing you live exactly what's going on and how much is going in it and all that stuff, so there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is what's happening.
You can use all the dope you want, but you just a lot of weight. I didn't become really fanatical about weight until I got with Ron O'Toole. And Ron is worse than I am. Leave that off. Leave that off. But he is correct. He is correct. He told me that there will come a time in my building that I won't even put tissue paper on the fuselage. And I'll just finish it with clear dope.
Used to not do that.
Yeah.
Just clear and sand and clear and sand and clear and sand, and it's absolutely the lightest finish. I mean, your clear is the lightest thing you're gonna have to put on it.
The problem is when it sits in the sun, the grain sucks down.
Yep, exactly right.
But he said if you want performance, I think the best thing to use on the bare wood is the Japanese tissue.
Absolutely.
It's hard to work with though. Carbon veil sounds cool. My airplane's got carbon on it. Yeah, so what? It takes 5 times as much paint and it's not as strong.
Yeah, it sucks.
So it sucks. Bob Hunt says, oh, we gotta have carbon on it. Carbon, garbage.
Does nothing but make the surface sort of hard. And I'm not so sure that tissue paper doesn't do just as good a job as it.
Yeah. We've done the experiments on this stuff. And yeah, those guys are top builders. Even Billy. Carbon. Okay, whatever.
I don't think it weighs less than tissue, than lightweight tissue, or.
It weighs more because it takes twice as much to fill.
Yeah. And if you turn around and you sand it all off, then what good was it to put it on in the first place?
Exactly.
Which most of them do. They sand it down to where it's doing nothing but filling the grain, so it's really not really doing anything. Doing less. And it still weighs more. whatever you save in weight from the carbon, between the carbon and the tissue paper ain't nothing.
This airplane is all double aught silk span, lightest stuff you can get at Brodak. Okay, I think we're done here.
Let that dry a little bit. I'm gonna open these doors a little.
Yeah, you can open it. Come and take a look at it, see if you think I need to add anywhere.
I want you to add it before I open the doors, so. I don't wanna change the temperature in here since it's working. Yeah, much better. Much better. You got that stuff on the left that time. Yeah, still better now. That'll come out of there.
What is it?
That little drop that ran down there.
Oh. Ain't gonna worry about it.
No, it'll come out of there. Look at that scab elevator on this side. Yeah, I see you got some gloss build up on it there. That looks good. And see, it's I don't wanna call it sandy looking, but it's not orange peel.
Right.
I mean, orange peel's dimples. But it's sort of got like almost a sandy sort of look to it. That's just overspray and it's so fine that it'll come right off of there. I think you're good. I think now next coat, once you get all, you're gonna sand this, you're gonna with 5,000 or something?
I'm thinking about it.
I think I would.
Depends on what it weighs. If we're at the 56 ounce mark here, we're done. If we're at the 55 ounce mark, then there's a little room.
Dry yet?
Pretty close. I mean, not in the wings. The wings are still bagged up. But, you know, the open base.
Well, let it dry until it shrinks all up. It's getting there now. I still got the scale up here, but I don't want it to leave an imprint in it when we set it on the scale.
You gotta put it all back together.
No, I just weigh everything individually because it's gonna weigh what it's gonna weigh. Scale's not gonna be that far off. As I say, the total weight of the airplane is the sum of all parts. Yeah, I think you got a nice coat clear on there. Got windy coat on there.
A windy coat. I hope not.
Well, this would be one coat for him. You're calling this
Two coats.
two coats. And this, if this is any indication, I think you're preferably doing something in tall cotton.
I didn't put any more on that.
Yeah, that's two coats.
Right.
Well, this was sort of a better finish and that has more paint on this than that does.
Because it's smaller.
Yeah. So this is showing you what that's gonna look like in another coat. So to me, This is what my airplane inside looks like. This is right here is where my airplane inside is at right now. And I'm debating on whether or not just to go ahead and shoot another coat of clear on it and forget the panel lines. 6 of one, a half dozen of another. What's it gonna gain me?
Nothing.
It could hurt me though. The airplane looks fine just like this without panel lines. Many of them were done just like this. I don't think you'll get.
I'm gonna get what I'm gonna get. It's not, panel lines are not gonna add any more.
I mean, are you gonna get one more point for panel lines? Probably not.
No.
So it'd be better off putting the time in, just another coat in there and time in buffing this out than going through the headache of putting the lines on it and everything. And that's my logic behind it.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna doctor up all these little spots there.
Yeah, but I would definitely do that because I got a few of those in mind. I got one right here, and I was going to ink line it just so I could fix that spot. You know, and there's little things, you know, little flashing that dot that got on it that I missed somehow, and then it got buried under the clear, and you'll never get it out of there.
Now the fix for things like that is to scuff that, airbrush, light on, and then clear over it, and that's.
Yeah, that's as far as you can go.
I mean, there's one there.
That hair thing, wherever that thing was at on there, how'd that end up?
That is the problem with my plotter. I'm gonna call him up and ask him. That was along that line right there. There's a piece of plastic along that line.
Yeah.
And I blew underneath it and it kind of blew up. Like, oh shit. So then I grabbed it. Well, it took the thinner from that, the red, and then transferred it to this.
Is it double cutting the
I think-
line?
I think it must be.
You know, that's what happens too when you get a bad font. But you made this font yourself. This isn't a copy from somebody else.
These checks are done exactly as your checks were done. Duplicate, you know, rows and duplicates.
Yeah. So it's not like somebody else did it and you don't know how many times they
Yeah.
manipulated that thing and then you got a hold of it and you manipulated it and then that's why you get all those overlay cuts and all
Right.
that crap.
This is in the machine itself. But you can't feel that, but I can fix that pretty easy.
Still real tacky.
Yeah, you can see the
Yeah.
bags.
It's got a little bit of dust or something.
No, those-
under it.
Pinholes. Them are pinheads there. That's the way you
Well,
go.
all that'll come out there. I'm not really worried about it. I just don't like the look of it right now.
Sand this line right here. The pinheads.
You know, you keep worrying about this and worrying about that and worrying about that. It is what it is. It's a 17 or 18 point airplane period. It's not going to get any better than that. Don't matter how much fiddling around you do with it.
I just want it to look as best as possible.
I mean, to me, and this is what I'm really seriously thinking about on mine, is not inking it at all. Let's get on with the clear. Let's get on with the buffing. Let's make the thing shine and go fly it. You know, there's just too many little things now. If everything would have came out maybe one little step better, I might go through the extra effort. You know, I'm really debating it. I've been dragging my feet because I'm mulling this stuff over in my mind. I will try to do something about these back here and make us something to put back in there. Almost did it the other day. I actually got a
Heat
little.
gun to get that little dink out of there.
I took it back downstairs too. Look at that, there's a couple little black spots right there on the edge of that flap.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Jim, if you can see him, you're standing too close.
10 feet, Jim, 10 feet. Did he say he's not gonna make it to the Nats this year?
Yeah, he's not. He's sick. Can't travel. Not gonna see him at Brodak. Shit, with gas at $7 a gallon, we may not make it to the Nats.
Yeah, we're already debating about camping or motel rooms and this and that. I haven't got a motel room yet for anything. Don't even know what the price is. It might be cheaper to buy camping equipment and camp out.
Sleep in the car.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, I have too.
Of course, it's hard for me to do it when I got 2 full-size stunners in the back because I can't lay the damn seat back. Well, let it dry and get the bags out of it. That's about all we can do.
Pretty much dry. Little baggy up
Need to
here.
be dry enough to where we can handle it. If you want to weigh it.
Not yet. But it is what it is. It's all it's gonna get today.
Yeah, no, you don't want to put any more on this anyway. I don't care if you wanted to. I wouldn't put any more than this on there. You're trapping in too many solvents down into it. It'll stay soft longer, you know.
Already because it's got retardo in it.
Yeah. Never know, you'll be handling it, and before you know, you look at it, damn, I left fingerprints in that stuff, you know, because it's soft underneath everything.
Let's see what the boys have to say, if anything. Afternoon, Alan. All in all, the project was a success as far as I'm concerned. The stripping, the refinishing. This came out nice.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much a success.
Would I want to do it again? No. Would I do it again? Maybe.
It's an alternative, you know, to building a whole new airplane. If you've got one that flies good, that could be lighter because you put too much paint on it to begin with. You know, you put a 12 or 14 ounce finish on it. You know, you could very easily strip it, redo it, and come out 4 or 5 ounces lighter than what it was before. I mean, the possibility is there. Look, there's one of them stupid ass things that I got in mind too.
Yeah,
That's flashing.
yeah.
I don't know how in the hell you can get away from it. We cleaned this thing, rubbed it down, checked it all over, and they still just materialize like out of nowhere.
One of them things. It'll be fun to play with this summer. You know, it was worth the work.
I think so. Came out nice, you know. Panel lines or no panel lines, it come out nice.
I'm steering away from the panel line.
It'll look a lot better when it's all buffed out. You know what I mean? You get another coat or 2 coats of clear on that thing and buff that thing out and make it look real nice.
You can't even feel them, so that's good.
Right now would be a a 3,000 grit sandpaper, go over the whole thing, and you'll be, wherever you could feel it at, you'll knock all them high points off of it. By the time you stick another couple coats of clear on it, 57 ounces.
Remember, this is from the original quart of dope. So,
That was a half a jar.
so once again, all the dope that's on here, if you take clear dope out of the can straight, you fill this jar up. That's all you get. And you split it in half. Half of it for the substrate and half of it for the top coat.
For that coat. So that jar right there started out as a half a quart of unthinned clear.
Right.
And he's put two coats of clear on this. Right here.
Yeah.
Out of this jar. He'll get 2 more coats out of that jar. We'll keep adding thinner, we'll make you get 2 more coats out of that jar. I like it. I think the canopy came out great. The green was a nice touch. I have to agree with Wendy on this different color thing on that. That's a good deal.
The canopy should be a color that's nowhere else on the airplane.
The airplane pops, just the way it is, it pops. It doesn't need anymore.
It's almost unbagged.
I know you were gonna do lines on the checkers. I don't think it needs it.
If I had the wood and I was building a new one from scratch, I would probably go ahead and do that. But
It's not how the real checkerboards are.
yeah, but it would pop.
Yeah, I thought about doing it on all the checkerboards on mine too, but I go crazy doing checkerboards on that because it's all checkerboards. Time five sides.
Did I get enough clear on that? Yep, sure did. Okay, now, if you guys remember, I had a hole right here. I repaired that. Well, I put the shell sticker over the top of it, but I could have got away without doing it, but you can't tell that there was a hole there.
No,
No way.
you gotta think.
Yeah.
And you said it the best I ever heard. You got a flaw that you take a lot of work to get out of it. If you accent that flaw, it seems opposite of common logic. You accent that flaw or part of it, it'll sort of blend it in.
It's like the tucker on my nose in my Tucker XL. You know why that's there, right?
Yeah.
It had that suck down in the beams. Well, okay, great. We'll just make it part of the tucker.
Yeah, and then it just
You can't see
out
it.
the window it goes.
Yep.
And panel lines will do the same thing. If you got the little spots and you can run a panel line through it, it'll just sort of blend it in. Your eye won't go to that.
This will be just a clean, old-timey paint job.
Yeah, it's a classic paint job. It's one of your classic paint jobs for sure. Your Vipers are all like this.
Similar.
I mean, the scallops are your sort of trademark 50s.
I haven't seen anybody else do it like that, except Tom.
Well, that was pretty common way back then in the 50s and maybe even into the 60s, but
Yeah, this is 60s. 68, 69 is when this scallop was.
sort of scallops went out for a long time. They still haven't been in, just like flames. Flames were in the 60s.
I like
and
flames.
70s. I like flames too, but they're out right now. They're sort of out of style. Still a little sticky.
Yeah, still a little sticky. Got the shtick going on. We've been on an hour and 36 minutes, 39, 36.
Well, I'd say is clean up the guns and stuff.
So what Dennis says, so you're at 20 or 30% clear at the end. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's right. The last coat of clear goes on there might be
100% thinner.
yeah. Well, you think it's 100% thinner, but it's probably 10% or 10% dope and 90% thinner. But you're still getting plenty clear on there, but that's all you're getting on there. All that thinner gas is off. That's, you gotta remember that. Thinner gas is off. Thinner does not add weight.
What all do you do to this gun to clean it besides run it out?
Take a rag and wipe around in there with thinner in it and wipe the nozzle off. I sort of put a little thinner in there and then plug the end of it while you're spraying it, and it sort of like backwashes it like a little bit.
I gotta say, this is a good spraying gun.
I just spray it out on the paper towel and then wipe all that stuff off with you. And I tore that down when I first bought it, and I redid all the joints in it and sealed all the joints and everything, and all I ever do is unscrew that end off of it every now and then and clean it out real good. But that's for nothing but clear. You got an orange gun, a black gun, a clear gun. The orange is orange and red. The black is black, brown, whatever colors like that. The clear gun and a white gun. I mean, it makes life easier. A little more costly, but back at the time I could get them Harbor Freight guns like that for $10. Which was a hell of a deal.
What?
Come here, you know it was shiny before.
Oh, I've seen that.
You
Yeah.
see that? Now it's dull.
It'll be fine.
That's a rub of some type.
It'll be fine.
I know it'll be fine, but still, I wanted to see if it was still in there because it was shiny and everything else was dull before, and now it's dull and everything else is shiny. Go figure.
It'll be shiny. Sand it out and buff it. It'll be fine.
Now here's what I thought might have happened. I think it's in here. This silk span right here. That what might have happened to your silk span. Now this is old stuff, but look at these spots in this.
Yeah.
Now I would never use this, but it's through every single sheet on this roll because I unrolled this whole damn thing.
I would use it.
I'm afraid of those spots. I don't know what they are. And it might end up with the chicken pox. That could be silicone on there.
Test it. Build a frame, put it on, test it.
maybe. I certainly wouldn't want it tested on a good frame. But I got that was given to me. Like, you want some silksman here? Yeah, okay. And I sighted and seen, and I carried it home. I said, damn, no wonder he was giving this away.
I guess you can open up the garage and let some heat in.
Yeah, it's let's air it down and we'll have a ready and roll that thing up.
We didn't change the humidity during this process by opening and closing the garage, so we're running the heater. But if it was gonna blush, it would have blushed by now. I do believe. Let's go up with this booth.
I'm gonna hand roll that up. Rolling up now. They're pretty good.
Not quite yet. There we go. Here, take this out. That thing's screwed up. Coming out of there. I didn't fix it. I didn't run the microphone either, so oh well. More interested in getting my project done than filming. To be honest, guys, I'm pretty happy. It's not perfect, but it ain't bad.
It's better than a utilitarian paint job.
Yeah. With as much elbow grease as I'm gonna put in, it'll be fine.
Yeah, break out that little Snap-on $500 buffer.
Well, no, this will be hand buffed, but because there's not enough paint on it.
Yeah, you get a couple more coats on there, you'll be fine. And Paul called me up the other day, he said, yeah, man, he said, I sanded the heck out of that chipmunk, he says, and it didn't take an ounce of weight off of it. I said, nope. I says, it won't. I said, you can sand that paint all you want. You can sand that clear all you want, and it will not take weight off of it. So you can't measure the weight that comes off of it when you wet sand this down and all that, and buff it out and all that stuff. You can't measure it.
But how did my airplane go from 62 ounces to 60?
I think that was just a mistake mentally. I think you just forgot how much it weighed. And it very well could have gassed off, but it's only going to gas off an eighth of an ounce in the whole paint job, maybe. It's already gassed off. This is already gassed off. 90% of the thinner is already gassed off right now. You're only 1% of the thinner that's left in there yet to be gas off. So any more drying is not really losing anything.
I got one of them little dimples right there too.
Yeah.
We need the heat gun. I gotta get them out of there before they. One there, one on the bottom.
Yeah.
They'll come out when I get the heat gun on it.
I mean, all this stuff, as bagged out as that was and everything after they went on there, it's slowly just working its way out. Little dimples here and there and there. They'll come out. It's still green.
Yeah.
Green, greener than the grass. See, I mean, you touch that, it's still
Oh yeah, it's soft.
sticky. Not enough that you're gonna leave your fingerprint in it, just barely touching it, but it's still sticky.
Could have got some more clear on the open bay here. It's not quite as shiny as. Or it might
If you're
be.
not gonna ink line it, I'd level it all off with 3000 paper and come back and shoot the rest of that clear on it and start your finish process.
I don't think I'm gonna ink line. Like I said, I might, I might do a little hatch here or something. But why?
Why? Once you get started, you know how it is. Once you get started, well, it needs a little bit here. Well, it needs a little bit there. Well, it needs a little bit there. I don't know why that's doing that.
They were there before.
They were?
Yeah. Just that I've wet it up and relaxed it,
I'm not a big one for using heat guns on paint jobs.
I do whatever it takes. Guy was talking about polyspan the other night. I guess because he flies off grass.
I just closed the garage door.
We vented out all the stink.
Not all of it.
Yeah, she could smell it. She hasn't been out here.
I can smell it in there.
Can you?
Yeah.
Haven't even been in and out that door.
I know. It's creeping underneath.
Because it's got retarder in it. Can you smell it when it's regular dope?
I don't know. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Who knows when that is, though.
Soon as you got crock potted, didn't it?
What?
As soon as you get crock potted,
I don't know. I didn't crock pot it. It was built here, so what did we do?
we didn't crock pot it. But it just looks like it because they'll turn black or, dark gray. Not be that shiny gray that.
Just an old motor. Probably 60 some years old.
Really?
Oh yeah. Wouldn't you say that motor's, it's at least 50 years old?
Up on my kids.
It's at least 50, right?
Yeah, probably. It's not the oldest one.
No, because it's got muffler ears.
Yeah. No hole in the side of it for that
Crank fin.
throttle, exhaust throttle thing. So probably 70s.
Yeah, it might be 70.
I'm 40 years old anyway.
The guts aren't, but
Missing the plug out of for taking the,
never had one in it.
don't need them. They're only there because people think you need them. Everybody loses them or they fall out when they're flying.
Yeah, never had it in it. So, I guess, oh, I know what I want to do before I go. I want to go downstairs and sand my teeth mold. Yeah. I sure, great looking airplane. Well, let's see where we're at. You can't tell what it's at.
It must be the year of the checkerboards.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think I'm going to end this because I'm going to go downstairs, sand my teeth up, and we'll come back up and I'll put it together, go home, and I'll be on later. I'll let you know what it weighs. But I think I'm gonna go with no ink lines. This is it. Sand and buff. Sand, clear, and buff. Plain Jane.
Awful lot of them out there that look really nice.
I like it.
Clean. Get that.
The guy's red airplane at the Nats.
Yeah, but you know, he still wouldn't score any higher than what he did ever.
Why?
It's too plain. You know, they score higher for effort, work. And taken for granted that that thing was meticulously built and covered and painted the base color. Then he stopped. You know, so it would never garner anything more than 17 points.
Yeah, but he had got 15, I think.
That's probably about right, because he didn't put the effort in it to put some detail into it.
A nice airplane.
A beautiful airplane. For a single color airplane, with it had no frills. It had little teeny panel lines on it. Didn't hardly even see them. If I remember right. Am I right on that?
I don't think it had any kind of line on it.
Might not have. But I mean, it's about as plain Jane as you can be. It was a very respectable, very well built airplane. Well finished.
Well, I gotta go finish the teeth mold. get it sanded up. Hopefully it won't flip out of my hands and break.
Looks like a Reno racer. Yeah, they all sort of look like that. With this oldies paint job.
All right, guys. Fair winds, tight lines. Check back later this evening for my live stream from home. We'll see you later. Let's go, Brandon. See ya.